Morning, friends. I hope you're doing well. You know, back in October, I spent 5 weeks in New York City. It's a noisy place. So what I do, I use this, these are like, what do they call these? Eye shades. You put them on at night and it's all dark. And these are earplugs. You put the earplugs in, they're on a string, so if one falls out, you can find it. Put the earplugs in, you can't hear anything. I'm what you call a light sleeper. My wife can sleep through a bulldozer. She's what we call a heavy sleeper, a sound sleeper. I don't have that. I wish I did. Mark 4:38, the disciples, I guess they thought Jesus was a heavy sleeper because he's in the hinder part of the ship. He's sleeping on a pillow, and they say, Master, carest thou not that we perish? Now, those are the apostles ordained by the hands of Christ himself. That was the foundation of the apostolic church. Don't you care about us? Certainly he cares. 1 Peter 5:7, casting all your cares upon him because he cares for you. So yeah, he cared. Carest thou not that we perish? He stood up in the ship and he said, Mark 4:39, peace be still. He demonstrated that he had a care and concern for the apostles. And he also demonstrated that he was the Lord of the wind and the waves, that he controlled the nature that he created. John 1:3, all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Colossians 1:17, by him all things consist. He made it and glues it all together. And then he turns to the apostles. Once the wind and the wave, is peaceful, he turns to the apostles in verse 40, and he says, look, why were you so fearful? Come on, I was in the boat with you, but you were asleep. Now, he's not unaware of our needs. He's not a deep sleeper. And then he said, where's your faith? I have faith in a God that does not sleep and slumber. He does things when I need it. Just when I need it, Jesus is there. He's an on-time God. He's never late. Now, rarely early, but never late. And so my wife and I, we were new in our Christian experience. And often you see in the Bible Christ doing miracles, and those miracles really confirm the faith of those that witnessed it. You got the woman with the issue of blood in Matthew 9:22, I think it is. Thy faith has made thee whole. You got the demoniacs in Mark 5. You got Jairus' daughter raised from the dead. All these miracles. And when people saw that, they thought, John 11, Lazarus come forth, Mary and Martha, when they saw their brother raised from the dead, they were fortified in their faith. They had faith. But seeing these miracles really gave them a solid footing. And so, often today, the Lord still does. Maybe not often. Occasionally today, the Lord will still do a miracle for his people to confirm their faith. And Darlene and I, we were new at the Bible. We were new. We didn't understand so many things, but we could see there was a God. We could see that he cared, and he was leading in our lives. I've already done some kind of video clip where we got a change of diet, went from the eating of meat onto a whole food plant-based diet. And that was the Lord leading us to a better nutrition. In fact, here's a little short clip of how we made the move from the steakhouse into the whole food plant-based diet. Basically, it said wait 6 months. At the end of 6 months, you build yourself a chicken coop. You confine the chickens. You get a block of wood and a hatchet, and then you take one chicken, and it told what you do. You cut its head off and how to clean the chicken, prepare it, how to freeze it if you're going to store it for later consumption. All these different aspects of animal husbandry, in this case, chickens. Now, what the book did not tell me is that when I got the first chicken, put its head down on the block, and I cut its head off, the book didn't mention anything about the other 15 chickens getting very quiet. It's like you could hear a pin drop. And of course, then Darlene went and got the second one. She was like the messenger of gloom and doom to the chickens. She would go get the second one out of the cage, brought it over. I cut the head off. She went and got the third. I did the same. We did that for the first 14 chickens. She brought number 15 over, and I said, Darlene, I handed her the hatchet. I said, I can't kill another one. This whole thing's making me sick. And she said, don't hand it to me. I'm not going to kill them. And then I told her, it wasn't any kind of forethought. I just said, look, I can't kill the chickens. I'm not going to eat them. If I can't kill them, it doesn't seem right to eat them. And that's the day we were vegetarians. So the survivor of the D-Day for the chickens, his name was Elrod. And that Darlene had given the chicken the name. He was a Rhode Island Red, given him the name Elrod. And this was Darlene's pet chicken. And by the way, the Lord, He cares for the animals, right? Matthew 10, verse 29, are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing? And then the Lord knows all about it when one falls. Verse 31, you are worth more than many sparrows. One can fall, and the Lord knows even the sparrow. And He has a concern and a care for the creatures that He made. So the Lord cares about even Elrod. So Darlene, one day, we'd had a drought in Mentone, Alabama. It hadn't rained like 4, 5, 6 weeks. And Darlene noticed that the chickens seemed to be ill. She read up in her veterinarian books, she kind of diagnosed the problem as Elrod was experiencing a minor heat stroke. What needed to happen is he needed to be cooled down. So Darlene got a bucket of water and was going to go pour it over Elrod, cool down her chicken. But the problem is, when she got near the chicken, he would run. That made a bad thing worse. It would overheat him even more. And she didn't know what to do. Now today, when we don't know what to do, we know what to do. But back in the olden days, it was also new to us. Darlene had the idea, the impression that she needed to pray for that chicken. And she did. And after she prayed for the chicken, a dark cloud started to roll in. And it's just this is miraculous. Dark cloud rolled in, and it was over Darlene and the chicken, and it began to rain. Now the report from the neighbors is continuation of the drought. They got no rain, but in answer to prayer, the Lord sent Darlene a little dark cloud filled with water. And it rained on that chicken and cooled down Elrod. In the process of cooling down the chicken, the Lord confirmed Darlene's faith, because when she saw that, she knew that there was a Messiah and that He was working on behalf of His people, even when it came to something like a chicken. Now, you got to reason this way. If the Lord cares that much about a chicken, how much more about us? That's how the Lord was reasoning in Matthew 10, 29 and 31. If He cares that much for a sparrow, how much more for us? And the Darlene's faith was fortified. And, the Lord was doing some things for me too. He was helping me to see that occasionally, to help my weak faith, the long arm of God would come out from behind the curtain. He would do something, you'd have to describe it as like a providence, a miracle. And it was faith confirming. Darlene was coming out of the New Age, right? Had a lot of ideas, spiritualism, and a lot of ideas. It's hard to uproot those as the truth of the Bible comes home to your mind. And I'd been such a hardcore atheist. The truths were all new. I didn't have to unlearn a lot because I didn't believe anything. But still, the effect of these miracles in our lives, it really helped us along, and I believe God did that to increase our faith. Now, if you need a miracle today, I don't know. Sometimes God does it. Sometimes He sees best not to. But it never hurts to ask, Lord, I'm in a bad place. I'm in a tight spot. Could you do something? Could you open up the window of heaven, pour out a blessing today to help me in my time of need? And the Lord will hear, He'll answer, maybe not in a miraculous way, but He'll set some sort of train of circumstances in motion that will bring relief and help to you. Maybe not just when you think you need it, because the Lord is rarely early but never late, but He'll bring the answer, the right answer at the right time. God bless you today, my friends, and may He keep you in the palm of His hand. Remember, the Lord is not a heavy sleeper. When His people have needs, He is always awake, aware, and ready to answer our prayers. Have a nice day.